Good morning and welcome to Workhorse Wrestling Network. You're gathered with us here for the Winner's Circle as we're here every Saturday morning for your listening and viewing enjoyment. It is bright and early over here on the West Coast, 7 a.m. It's 10 a.m. over there on the East Coast where Miss Anika is. How are you doing this fine Saturday morning? You're muted.
Yeah, go yell my niece yelling her head off. Let's go. But hi, how are y'all?
We are good. Let's see. So, as usual, we're going to review, I guess, as usual, we've switched it up recently. Now we're strictly AEW here on Winner's Circle. But for the last several weeks, we're going to do as we have been doing, which is reviewing Collision and Dynamite. This will be Collision from last Saturday, June 21st, and then Dynamite for this past Wednesday, the 25th. We will not be including the following Thursday's special Collision because we'll hold that until next week, and we'll do that with next week's Dynamite since there won't be a Collision on Saturday. So I guess without further ado, let's get into, that's the wrong thing. Let's get into AEW Collision from last Saturday. Let's see. So it kicked off with, that's not the right one. Hold on. I got to get my correct note so that I know where we are at. There we go. This was, yeah, June 25th in Kent, Washington. So I'm in my neck of the woods, my side of the country here, just a little north of where I am, about 3 hours. Stokely says his men are ready for the 8-man tonight, and we open the show with Jon Moxley versus A.R. Fox in a non-title matchup.
Noise.
In which, what?
Noise.
Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, and as you would expect, Jon Moxley gets the win. I'm looking here, it says it was only 5 minutes and 50 seconds. It felt a little longer than that. I mean, I don't want to say that A.R. Fox, like,
no, yeah, it did.
I wouldn't say A.R. Fox got really like a chance to show out per se, but it felt longer than 5.5 minutes, honestly.
It did.
It was okay. Obviously, you know what's going to happen. I mean, I feel like AEW needs to work on being a little less predictable. I feel like sometimes they're falling into some traps of predictability. Like here, for me, I feel like when it's a non-title matchup, even if it's a guy like A.R. Fox against your champion, like that is the opportunity for something potentially bad to happen to Moxley. And I understand that, like, he's heading into All In, so you don't want to show him in any kind of weak position. But Moxley, I don't even know that that's possible, even in a loss per se. I mean, he's so Moxley. So I just
right.
I just feel like it gives it some opportunity for movement a little bit when it's a non-title matchup. So that being said, glad that Fox is getting this spot, I guess, to open the show with the world champion. I suppose that implies that maybe Tony Khan is looking at him a little bit more than he has been in the past. I don't know if he's been injured or what's been going on, but there obviously has been, he's been around for a while and has been on TV, but not pushed. And so I'm wondering if maybe this is the beginning of it. I don't know. I hope, because I really like A.R. Fox.
Yeah.
But this match was fine. Talk about the match, and then we'll talk about post-match.
No, totally agree with you on everything. When you said 5 minutes, I'm like, that can't be right. It definitely felt like it was more. Not more so predictability, more so like what exactly are we doing with A.R. Fox? Because right now, we've both been watching Collision more occasionally, more occasionally. No, sorry, more usually, and he's losing. And it's like, yes, it's a good spot, but he can't keep losing. He has to get a win in some kind of capacity. Maybe like a multi-man match and let him get the pin. But like, yeah, him just losing constantly, like you said, makes it predictable. It's I don't. It's like, and it sucks too.
If Cody Khan's looking at him like, you're the guy I want to be able to put in a match to take a loss against big guys and still look good, I can
Boo.
understand that, but and I'm okay with that as long as in between he still gets win over other guys so that it looks credible as to why he's in those matches. You know what I'm saying? Like he can't just say
Yeah.
lost the big guy and never have a win. Like that doesn't look good. Like then you just look like a jobber. If you want him to actually look like he belongs there, but he can take the loss because it's Fox, which I still don't like, then he needs to be beating other like mid card guys or lower level main event guys on a
Yeah.
regular in between his losses against the bigger people.
Yeah. But like you said, it was like, no matter what, AR Fox and Mox is gonna have a great match. But it is like he's gonna lose. It's stupid. You have him win like one time in between these 3 weeks, and I would have been fine with it. But it's like, okay, you lost again, fine, whatever. But yeah, the match was good though.
Post match, Moxley grabs the mic and starts talk. Oh yeah, post match he gives AR Fox a Death Rider first and grabs the mic, starts talking about Hangman Page has wasted his talents and his chances for years. He doesn't have the same patience that these people have. And promises to run Page out of the sport at all in. This business is not for Page. Um, yeah, I mean, I let's just say I appreciated that he didn't stay and talk for 20 minutes. Like it still felt
Yeah,
a little kind of wordy, but in his regard, it was short for him. So I was kind of glad. Say
yeah.
your little piece and get out of there. You know, I, if indeed Tony Khan's mindset is the same as everybody else who says that AEW is the Hangman story, this
Yes,
has to be the time when Hangman has to beat Moxley here. It's the right time. It just is what it is.
yes,
This is the right. If indeed that's the tack you want to take, then this is the right time. I mean, Moxley is clearly, the bad guy, the devil, the cancer in AEW at the moment, despite what he says. And this is Hangman Page's opportunity to become the face of the organization and take out the bad guy and become the new champion. I mean, to end the run that other people can't haven't been able to end, and so we'll see. I mean, I have a feeling that's where it's going. I'm not 100% sure I'm on board. I like Hangman Page, and it's time for Moxley to give up that title. I just I have an issue when you have a company that has a roster of 40 men and 20 women, and the ongoing story is, oh, this company's all about Hangman Page. Well, there's like 60 other wrestlers here that would love for it to be about them, put in 100% effort all the time. Maybe not all of them, but you know what I'm saying. And it just feels like it's a little unfair to them because it's not just saying he can say what he wants. It's not, and if it is, fuck you guys, I'm going somewhere. Like I'm not here to just support Hangman Page and just be like background in the Hangman Page story. Like, if the goal, I don't know how to say it any different than that, but like, if it feels like it's already rigged and geared towards, Tony Khan wants Hangman Page, and I understand it's all scripted anyhow, but Tony Khan wants Hangman Page to be the face of the company. Then if I'm another main event guy, I'm like, well, fuck, what am I gonna, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'd be a little pissy. So, in that regard, I'm not a big fan of that, but I guess we'll see what ends up happening.
So I'm not gonna say that they want to be the Heyman story. I just truly think that he's that good where it just becomes the story. Like just going back to I'm trying to say I want to say it was MJF was champion and I want to say it wasn't Moxley, it was Samoa Joe. But Hangman and Swerve had that amazing rivalry where it's like, oh, maybe you should put the belt in this situation. And like he just literally just does everything he does that's not the title is that good. And then now you have this title reign, which is questionable. I'll just leave it there. Questionable. And everybody wants to see it off of him,
Yeah.
whatever. For me, Hangman is the perfect person. Yeah, there was a great debate of him or Osprey. But when you came down to it, it's like I wanted to be Hangman. Like Osprey, honestly, I would love for Osprey's first title reign to be a heel. I don't know why, but that's just me. I actually would like Osprey's first title reign to be a heel. I think it would be much more interesting. But yeah, it was just like yeah, Hangman. Hangman should be the guy just for right now. I don't know how long the title reign was going to be or should be, but as of right now, it should be Hangman.
We got a little love fest about last week's Arena Mexico show and how special it was to be in Arena Mexico, which was nice.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Adam Cole and company are ready for their 8-man tag match, which is our next match. Don Callis family and FTR versus Bandito, Daniel Garcia, and the poorly named Paragon. Um, And well, again, what are you going to do when you have all these guys in the ring? You're going to have a solid match, right? I mean, I'm
Right.
going to say what I always say about multi-man matches, which is they're hard to watch to a certain extent because you can't keep your eyes on
Yeah.
everything. There's not enough cameras to see everything and all those things. So I get a little irritated when I lose stuff because I want to see everything, right? If I'm going to spend the time to
Right.
watch it, I want to see it all. So in that regard, it is what it is. Plus, they always end up in a little bit more a chaos and a melee than I like. I like clean matches that end clean. I know we don't get that all that often, but I like those. And that doesn't necessarily have to be one on one all the time. I'm just saying when you get 6, 7, 8 men in the ring, it becomes a lot. It becomes very chaotic. But that being said, all these guys can wrestle, and as you would expect, you got what you would expect, which was a very fast-paced match with a lot of good spots,
Mhm.
a lot of great wrestling. And, I wasn't disappointed. I was very entertained. I just wish that I could see every little bit of everything. So I enjoyed it. What about you? What did you think of this match?
So crazy enough for me, I the match was fine. The match was fine, like you said, it was very entertaining. But I felt like this is the less. It literally is the lesser match that they did in Grand Slam Mexico because you don't have a lot. The like so Grand Slam Mexico, Cash couldn't be there, so you add like 5 more other people. They're like, oh, now Cash is back. We'll do a more more toned down version. Like you didn't have to do this. You didn't like, in my opinion, it's like I'm actually missing the other guy. Now it's just Cash and versus like, now this 4-on-4 is kind of the less boring match. Like when they're like we're gonna run it back, I'm like you didn't have to run it back. Especially if you're not going to do the 15 versus 15. That's what it feels like. Let's go. Let's go. It was fine. And not sure. More so, I'm not sure where this leads. We're definitely going to get Fletcher versus Adam Cole. Hopefully at All In. But for FTR, I don't want them going against Bandito or anyone from CMLL. That is just me. That is just me. All In for me. I need other opponents for FTR. I'm not gonna say bigger, but something more, something we can get more invested in. And right now, I'm not invested in FTR beating any version of these people together. I need something a little bit more to chew on. But this was good. This was good. This was a fine match.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Super Card of Honor is coming up to, I think it's the same weekend or the next weekend after All In, and Bandito doesn't have an opponent yet for that. So, I mean, which isn't necessarily a great booking or great build up either to that show. So, I
Right.
mean, I guess we'll see what ends up happening at All In. Yeah, I mean, Bandito's great, and whoever he would probably bring with him would be a solid match with FTR. But I always have my issues with Frankenstein tag teams. I always have my
Yeah.
issues with tag teams thrown together just for a particular situation. There are plenty of situations for FTR to step into that make sense and to give them a viable match on the card, not just to throw them in with anybody just to put them on the card. And don't get me wrong, like I understand we've got this partnership with CMLL. And every week, as they become more and more integrated into just AEW TV, the more and more comfortable I become with them, the more and more I get to know them, the more and more it's not like a shock to the system anymore. So, I like that. And that's what they're going to have to do to make us all, ultimately start to like them and feel like they deserve the same spots as some of the people that we've been watching. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, and that's nothing to take away from anybody. But yeah, I mean, it feels like FTR needs for a tag team that they talk about being, the greatest
The
on the
best.
best in the world or the
Yeah.
greatest of all time, and they do an awful lot of wrestling, what I would call mediocre opponents in matches that don't seem to matter. You know what I mean? And maybe that's AEW and
Yeah.
Tony Khan's booking. Maybe that has nothing to do with FTR, but that just seems to be where they've been at for a while now. So, not necessarily like it doesn't make sense or it's bad per se. I guess that's not a fair assessment, but just kind of doing other stuff, I guess, as opposed to hovering around the titles or being, wrestling all of what I would call necessarily all the top guys, right? So they
Mm,
had the thing with Copeland and that kind of little feud, and then it's like, and then the Daniel Garcia stuff. And no offense to Daniel Garcia, but FTR and Daniel Garcia are on different levels. I mean, if you listen to the hype and you agree with what all of it is, they're on different levels, right? And it feels like
sure.
it's a step down for FTR to be in a program with them. It feels like a step up for Daniel Garcia, and I'm glad he gets the rub to a certain extent, but it feels like a step
Yeah,
down for them. But the division is down in general. We talk about how the tag team division has been down in general, so I guess it shouldn't surprise us.
unfortunately.
Let's see. What happened? More stuff. Everyone starts fighting post match. Um, let's see. The Outrunners come out to make the save. So the Outrunners are out there. FTR's like, hey, I thought we were friends. And the Outrunners like, nah, no, 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 no. And
Now that's
I mean,
what
I
you've been
guess
doing.
so. Here's the actual question. Now that we just talked about FTR needing a bigger opponent,
Yeah.
does the Outrunners, are they any a bigger opponent? I mean, they're not,
Nope.
but does it sound any more exciting? No,
You
doesn't
missed the
do
boat.
anything more for you.
You
It's
missed
a
no,
boat.
no, you missed the freaking boat. The boat was when you was doing a tag team gauntlet, and they're the only official tag team that got a pop. But you did, but you're like, no, we're still gonna go Osprey and Cal Fletcher, which is it's fine, but again, like if like listen, and this is where you need to think ahead. Where it's like, okay, eventually these emotional crackheads are gonna break up. So why and so, like, you really didn't need to give Kyle Fletcher and Osprey the win right there. If you would have let the if you would let the Outrunners win, they would have been a better place. But you didn't. So here we are on Collision. I don't even remember the last time Outrunners were on freaking Dynamite. So no, I I was on the road. I was on the Outrunner train. I'm still on it, but I'm like, right now, you have not built them up to be in this position. Oh yeah.
I mean,
Out.
I tend to agree. I tend to agree. I mean, I think that if they were booked right and they could be big enough to potentially make stuff, but they haven't been treated that way, so it feels weird. I mean,
Yes.
I think of I want them to be bigger than they are, the Outrunners, because I like them. So when I think of them, I think, hey, but at the same time, they really haven't been booked that way, honestly. So um, let's see. Thunder Rosa and company are excited for their 8 women tag team main event match.
Side note, and maybe, and this is very, very sad to think about this 2 weeks later, but why wasn't Thunder Rosa at Grand Slam Mexico?
That's a really
I
good
just,
question. I don't
I'm
know.
just,
Maybe
she's from
she
Mexico,
does other stuff, right? I mean, maybe she had another engagement. Who knows? I don't know, but it just yeah, it
but
seems
it's
odd
just
to me,
like,
right? It
huh?
clearly doesn't seem to be a relationship issue because here she is now. So there's
Yeah.
got to be some viable reason for why she probably wasn't there. I can't imagine that as, uh, you know, a superstar Mexican wrestler, you wouldn't want to wrestle in that arena during that show. So I imagine there's other things going on, but you never know. Who knows?
Mm,
If she
okay.
if she wasn't here at all, we'll be like, oh, maybe there's, you know what I mean? But
Right.
2 weeks later, she's here. So maybe she had something else going on. Maybe she was sick. Who knows? You never know. I mean, maybe they did help her not book. But
But it was like,
um,
okay, hold up, wait.
yeah, it is a little, yeah, like, why was she there?
Mm, it's fine, but it's not fine. All right, fine. Okay.
So we see
We'll
Thunder Rosa's team, and then we see Athena's team, where Athena telling her partners to get it together for tonight as they're going to be facing off against Thunder Rosa's team in the main event. Then we get a promo with Mercedes 6 belts. God damn, that's a lot of hardware on that woman right now. I
it
mean,
is.
it's a lot of belts. Like, there's more belt than there is human being at the moment when she holds them all like that. Like, damn, where she has a hard time finding places to put them. Like,
Yeah.
but she tells Tony Storm to bring it because Storm's time is ticking. What'd you think of this little promo from Mercedes? Or I guess the Thunder Rosa and Athena stuff and then Mercedes. Anything you want to say about any of those?
I am very happy that Thunder Rose. Yes, I am happy that Thunder Rose is on my TV, but more so, I'm happy that Athena is on my TV. Because no offense, I wasn't watching Ring of Honor like that. I'm not going. I'm not paying the money for that wall. So no offense, But so I am very glad, and I love to. I think she went to Megan Banks like, look, I'm bigger than you, but if everyone does their part, maybe all that can be my minions. And it's just like, yes, yes, she needs to be on my TV regularly. And if it's on Collision, so be it. I am very happy about all of this. But no, it's like, and later on it proved that that's gonna be it was an awesome match. So it was very good. Um Mercedes Monet. Yeah. So I this was an okay promo. I'm gonna say okay because I'm trying to think. We're on the road to All In. And this was a fine, what did you call it? It was a fine promo, but I did want more. I feel like this promo, if well, it was after her match last week on Grand Slam Mexico. I felt like then just leave it after the match. I know, like it's like leave it last week, right after the match is done, and she in the Tony Storm beatdown, then show this. But like right here, I'm not gonna say it felt out of place, but it just like okay, fine. I need more. We're three. Is it even 3 weeks? 2 weeks?
2 weeks
We're
now,
less
yeah.
than three. Huh?
2 weeks from Sunday, yeah.
We are from when Sunday hits. We are 2 weeks away from All In. We need to build this up better and faster, people. Please and thank you.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but for me right now, um, Tony Storm is killing Mercedes in the promo battle.
Yes.
Nothing
And,
against Mercedes, and her promos are fine, but Tony Storm is in a whole nother spectrum right now with her promos. The promo we're going to talk about in a little bit here that she
yes.
did on this show, I mean, she's
Yes.
just in a whole other class at the moment. So, in
Yeah.
that regard, I can appreciate that keeping them away from each other physically, and I get frustrated with the standard wrestling. Oh, let's try to put them in the ring and try to keep them separated, but you can't, every single week until they actually wrestle. So I appreciate that they're doing this a little bit differently. At the same time, it's either exposing Mercedes' limitations as a promo, or it's showing you how much better Tony Storm is at the moment than Mercedes, just in
So,
this moment in time. So
so right now, when Tony talks, and we're talking about it when it happens, it's a presentation.
yeah.
It literally is a segment. Not a backstage promo, not a backstage. It's a segment we all want to watch. We need somehow, some way, we need that same thing for Mercedes.
Hmm.
Let her come down, and of course it's because the timeless Tony Storm character gives her the stage to be that grand and awesome. But we gotta think about we gotta think about giving the same stage for Mercedes. We gotta think, like I said, 2 weeks away. We gotta think about giving her the same stage.
Agreed. Let's see. So that brought us to our next match, which was Swerve Strickland versus Shane Taylor. Um, Swerve gets the win ultimately with the house call after a little short of 10 minutes. Um, this is a match that anybody that's familiar with these two has seen several times before. Shane Taylor and Swerve has wrestled a number of times. They've been together a number of times. Um, I've seen them do it better. That being said, I thought it was fine. Um, I'm gonna combine. I'm gonna combine some things here. So I'm getting
Okay.
extremely frustrated with the Ricochet looking for a faction and being a piece of shit to everybody that he comes across. Like, oh, I'll
Right.
let you in. Oh, yeah, you're right. And then, no, I'm not. Like, it's really bad storytelling, in my opinion. Either you're going to find people or you're not. I don't like the whole. Me personally, I think because he has issues with Swerve and so many people, I think Shane Taylor and Shane Taylor Productions, even though I'm not a big fan of necessarily putting minority people with minority people all the time, I think Shane Taylor Productions with Ricochet would be amazing. So, if he's looking for people, I think that would be a group that's got already several people in it and bring them to the main roster and all those things. So, for me, that would be great. Um, But I thought this match between Shane and Swerve were fine. And I've seen it better, but in a vacuum, it was fine. So, what do you think of this match and just in general, Shane and Swerve?
So I have not seen it better because, as you know, I was not a indie wrestling darling like my my fellow workhorsemen. But I was very much entertained with this match. Uh, I love when my people be my people. So the whole you got the infantry on the apron trying to actually bet money on this and on the outside. And so he's like, hey, so one of the infantry went to Shane like, hey, I got money on you. And so Shane, I got you. All right. And then you got Tony Schiavone I'm like, but you didn't tell us who you put money on. So boo you. And of course, Prince Nana got to get in on the freaking bet. And then you and mid-size into the ring, you see Swerve stop me like, you're taking all their money. I'm like, y'all are being so black, and I love it. I love it. So that added a entertaining factor to me. It definitely did. I love your idea of Ricochet and them being a team and being on the main roster. I totally agree with everything you just said because Shane Taylor Productions, him and the infantry look so good together. And that should be, and like, we were just talking about the tag team division needing more guys. And it's just like, yes, do this. Please and thank you. This would be so much fun. This would be so much, it'd be so needed on the main roster. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this. Just like but unfortunately, just like Moxley and what's his name? AR Fox, we already kind of knew that Ospreay was winning this, even though it was hella fun. I love Shane Taylor. I do, even though I don't care about missing it, I do care about missing the prime Shane Taylor Productions, because if I recall, him and Keith Lee were together. I would have loved to have seen that. Keith Lee, get better. It's like,
Yeah.
if you like, don't stop wrestling, please. Because like you are remembered. I would love you for to come back and just finish, like, for God's sakes, finish the Swerve story. We were like, no matter, don't let anyone tell you different. We do want to ending to that, please and thank you. But yeah, they tag team division needs more bodies. Shane Taylor Production is already a concealed act. Like, you really don't need the piece like, they don't need anything. Like, you'll talk. Oh, they're no. They're actually a complete act. So
Right.
yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree with you. Let them hook up with Ricochet, and that would be a good time.
We get Mercedes Monet. Oh, I'm sorry, Tony Storm responding to Mercedes Monet in her best "Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego"
We're keeping the
look
look.
like
I'm not
costume.
mad at it. Yes, with
Uh,
her cute little straight ball action. Yes, I love all of it. Yes, I do.
she says she was told that her match between her and Mercedes would be huge, but Monet has done nothing but eat steak and try to kiss her. This doesn't work for Tony
When?
because if Mercedes makes the wrong move, she'll eat Mercedes alive. Uh, she knew that Mercedes was special, but she is a maniac, a manic, neurotic, erotic, sexually questionable, consistently sweating, bottom heavy, transatlantic. Yes.
Shit.
Um, yeah,
But she didn't
she
say
makes
shit.
she makes magic happen everywhere she goes when she defends her title. Let's see. She says unless Mercedes can pull a rabbit out of her, Monet is going to have to kill her. What do you think of this?
I'm not gonna say perfect, but yeah, it was darn near perfect. It was like,
It's
it
darn
literally
near
was
perfect.
perfect. Like, when you're talking about talking about how to make this match bigger. These are the promos that are necessary. And she, again, once again, she knocked it out of the park. And this is like, she just like, like how she opened it. She was like, "You just take me. I thought we had something special, but you just take me as some regular MFer." And I'm like, I'm like, wait, okay. Side note, we're on cable. When did we start? When did we start muting curse words on cable? We on cable. It's like maybe it's just me. I'm like when did cable become freaking PG? Okay, I'm just sorry. Okay, back on here. But I'm like, we're mute. Okay, anyway. But yeah, and she was just, and like you said, she's like, this belt, and again, she's pressing the specialness of the AEW Women's World Championship. She's like, this is special to me. And it's like, unless she's like, and you could never be, or so a different words, you can never be me. And like, if you want, she's like, I love that she even hyped Mercedes up. She's like, anyone deserves, like, she's like, eventually my title reign will end. And if anyone should end it, you deserve to. But as of right now, you're not acting like it. And it's like, yes, let's go. This was perfect. Thinking ahead, she's right. I would right now, Mercedes should be the person to in her reign. I wouldn't, All In is a big stage, and that's where it's supposed to happen. But I don't want it to be. I'm pretty sure her character won't be over when she loses the belt, but her with the belt makes it that much special, and it will be a little sad if she loses at All In. But she's right. Mercedes is the biggest star, and right now, if we had to pick someone to do it, it should be Mercedes. But yeah, like I said earlier, if we can give Mercedes this kind of stage to do a promo, I'm like, I still have people are wavering on Mercedes in her mic skills. No, I think we still haven't we just haven't set the stage for her to do a knockout promo, and we got to do it. Like I said, 2 more weeks, so she needs one of these promos as well. But this was perfect. This was purely perfect.
No, I agree with everything you said. I don't know that it's on past game nights, as part of name that superstar, other games we played, we've had finish the promo or tell us who said it and when they said. I don't know that it reaches, like, say, the level of some of those as far as the importance of what she's saying, like, or maybe like
Yeah.
the context. But this is one that I will always remember. When you talk about memorable promos, this will be one of them. And Tony Storm has created several with this character over the
She
last year
has.
or so that you'll remember always. It's not necessarily for the impact of what she said, but just for how great they are in just being, perfectly done, right? And perfect for the
Yes.
character. So yeah, no, I loved every bit of it. I thought this was brilliant. So and again, not to, maybe you're right. I mean, maybe we just need to give Mercedes a better platform for her promos.
Yeah.
But right now, Tony Storm is killing her. For whatever reason, Tony Storm is killing her when it comes to the promos. So we have another multi-person match, the Conglomeration versus
Back
MXM
together.
Collection and Taya Valkyrie. Hey, this match is fine. I'm happy that we have Mark Briscoe, um, and Willow Nightingale. Hologram is what he is. We know Hologram wins a lot, so him being on
Yes.
their team makes me feel like they're going to probably get the win, which is good for Willow and for Mark. I enjoyed this. I think you got what it was, which was ultimately Willow and them getting the win. Um, we had Mark Briscoe hit the froggy bow on Mansoor for the win.
That's
We
so.
had Willow hitting the pounce on, sheesh, I forget who it was now, but it
I
was
think it was
somebody
on
that
man. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it was Mansoor. It was definitely a dude. But I think it
it
was
was a dude.
Mansoor because Mansoor touched her hair, and you don't touch anyone's hair, let alone a black woman's hair. But thankfully, what you call it? Yeah, gravity pulled her off, and then she just bow. I'm like, yay! Okay, sorry. Continue.
So that was fun. I enjoyed that pounce. That was exciting. I mean, this match was what it was. I mean, I thought it was fine. I'm not overly invested. I like some of the people in this match. Like I like Mark
Mhm.
Briscoe. I love Willow. I'm so on hologram. I like Taya Valkyrie, but I'm not overly invested in any of this story at all. Like I don't. There's no story here. Let's put it that way. First of all, really, there's
There
no
is
real
no
story
story.
here.
There is
There
no
is no
story.
story.
Yes.
And it's just a bunch of people put together, which is fine. I get it. The conglomeration, they're at least a faction, and MXM is a faction at least. I get that, but it just feels kind of like let's just put some guys together to get them on the card. And so you don't necessarily there's no meat on the bone as far as the story goes. And when you get guys that don't that are just kind of thrown together, sometimes the chemistry isn't 100%. I'm not gonna say that there were no botches or anything. It was a decent mid card match for what it was. I thought it was fine for middle of the card on a collision. Um, I would have been a little bit
Yeah.
more disappointed. It's not fair to, I guess it's not fair to say this, but if this was on Dynamite, I'd be a little harsher. But because it's on Collision, I think it's fine.
No, because Collision it's on Saturdays. And so Saturday is like I think the mindset on Saturdays, if you want to change it or not, please do. It's your prerogative, but Saturday night is I'm at home, I have nothing to do, let me watch some wrestling. And so you like it'll be great if you had like one big segment or one big match to further move the needle, but right now the ratings are not like Dynamite. So it is not going to say you don't have to put something major on it, but it is very you got to be very strategic about that because it's like okay, will people at least watch it on social media if we put it right here? It's like because sometimes I do think some moments are too big where it's like yeah, it should have been on Dynamite and the collision could get up there eventually, but as of right now, I don't mind if you're still questioning which should be on Dynamite, which not. And like I said, if you're on Saturday night, you just want some fun matches to watch. This was a fun match to watch. So I'm not totally like oh boo, this should be bigger. No. This is like I said, it was very much so fun. I would have loved if they had inkling of kind of leading towards all in like no offense, you can't tell me that unless it's a pre-show match that any of this will be on the card. And I don't, like I said, I don't need every match to be, hey, this is going to be something to further all in storyline wise. But it's like, can you at least tell us? It's like
Right.
just a little hint of the card, just a little bit, if you
Yeah.
have that hint in your back
Yeah.
pocket.
Sure. No, I totally agree. Chris Statlander, frustrated about not being in the main event 8-woman tag match. Wheeler Yuta comes in to talk a little shit, and she tells him to get out. And then Moxley comes in and says, "Don't ever let anybody tell you what you're worth." And they have a little moment eye to eye. You think the Statlanders joining Death Note?
I don't know, but let's set the full stage. So number one, I agree with her that okay, why every time we gonna have a match, you asking me some stuff? Now you like no, it's one thing about coming to you, but I'm on this little case looking at my phone, and you freaking me out. Why? He's trying to egg me on. That ain't cool. And she is kind of right, where it's like to the point of Statlander, uh, pillar is such a tricky word nowadays, but she is one of your pillars in the women's division, and it is like, huh? Why it's been a minute since we've seen her in a match, and we were trying to do this thing with Willow, and no offense, it was not working. You screwed it up. You should have moved on. So I actually love this segment what's his name? Yuta with these long behind braids. Someone said he looks like a Muppet. Yes, he does. He looks like a Muppet. I'm like, and with his high voice, and it really is like, sir, I'm not sure what character we're doing with you right now. I'm not sure if I like it or don't, but just I agree with that letter. Get out of her face. Get out of her face. And this one with Moxley. It was needed. I I don't want her to join another faction just because like she was supposed to join the Callis family, but oh yeah, you just immediately flipped her to a babyface for whatever freaking reason. So you just again flushed that storyline down the freaking toilet. But this I love this moment where the aura of John Moxley hyped up Statlander just a little bit, just enough. Where it's just like, yes, yes, because it should be a time where Statlander will be our AEW Women's World Champion. It feels
Ooh,
like
that's a spicy take.
it at one point in time she should hold that belt. She should. I'm not saying in the near future, but event before her career is done, she should hold that belt. And right now, right, she's not really on no one's radar for anything. So this thing with Moxley, I liked it. It was needed. It's just like, hey, just side note, I'm not even sure. Like I wonder if this was a real if Statlander knew what he was gonna say, or if this was spontaneous or scripted. But it was like, hell yeah, I'm Chris Statlander. So yeah, I love the little hype up of that. I love it. I don't think she should be in the Death Riders. But yeah, this little hype up of yeah, get off the freaking suitcase and beat somebody up.
Yeah, I'm torn. I mean, I have the same. I don't want to hang John Moxley with the Jericho cowbell, but or the Jericho Vortex cowbell. But I have the same issue, not with Moxley, but just with people in general, where I have somewhat the same issue with the patriarchy. Um, Anywhere where you have what I would call a mega superstar, and then you surround them by guys that are clearly not. This is no disrespect to Claudio because I do think Claudio is on Moxley's level, but when you
Yeah.
surround them with a bunch of guys that are probably not equal to them, you end up getting a situation where that person gets the bulk of the time. That person, even when they talk as a group, when they're on camera as a group, their faces at the front. They're the ones that are doing the bulk of the talking. All those things. I mean, how often we almost I'm playing in my head now. When was the last time we even heard from Claudio or Wheeler or Marina during a promo? It's always, I mean, it's like
So
90% Moxley, 99% Moxley talking every time the group is on TV.
so usually backstage, Claudia will have some say. I would like
Right.
side note, if Claudio hurt or like
Yeah,
because
where's Claudio?
I
Yeah,
do miss him.
yeah.
I do miss him. I
I'm
do
not
need him
sure.
back on my screen.
I
Did
agree.
you see? So
Go ahead.
I put it on the group chat. Sorry, we're gonna get a little bit off and come back on. Did you
Yeah, yeah.
see the John Cena promo I sent y'all?
I haven't watched it yet. I
So
will though.
please, so yeah,
I
you
will.
gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. You
I
gotta watch
will.
it. He shouts out some AEW stars, and that was crazy.
Okay. I will
Yeah,
definitely check it out.
it was pretty
Um,
good. All right, but
as those
but,
we're talking about Chris Statlander and Moxley. So
yeah.
I like the Death Riders. Overall, I do think that they've worn a. I don't like them as much as I did before. I do think that the story's getting a little old. It's the same exact story with every opponent, and that's getting a little old. I think Moxley's reign here is probably just a hair long in the tooth. I thought he should have lost to Swerve, probably. Um, but it is what it is. Um, Smith Statlander probably needs people around her. Just because
Yeah.
I'm not sure that she. God, this sounds terrible. I don't want to. I don't want to disparage her in any way. I really like Chris Statlander. I'm just not sure that she has enough personality, enough charisma on her own to get over the way she wants to. And being in a faction like the Death Riders, the Don Callis family, that are main event factions would definitely give her that rub. At the same time, I think a little less with the Callis family because I think the wrestlers feel a little bit more, all a little bit more on the same level. But especially with the Death Riders. I think she falls into that kind of Death Rider vortex or Jericho vortex where she's there on TV, but who knows what we're going to get to see. This has been good for Marina Shafir in some regards
It has.
because she's on
It
TV all
has.
the time. It's been bad in other regards. We haven't seen her wrestle in a year now. I mean, she's had some interactions with Willow. I think she's had a match or two along the way, but I can't remember the last time she was in a real match. She was in Anarchy in the Arena,
Yeah.
which is fine. But a real match, her one-on-one, and she's a good wrestler. I mean, I know that we didn't really see that before, and I think that's why she's here. But if they had showed her the right way, I don't think she needs to be here. I think she's good enough to get over on her own, and we're not going to get to see that until I think she breaks away from these guys. So in regards to Chris Statlander, I just don't want that same thing for her. That being said, they're not doing anything with Statlander either. So doing something with her is better than nothing. Oh, let me rephrase that. They're doing something with her. We just don't know what it is. It's not clear or understandable what it is. She's on TV. It's just, are you going to be with the Callis family? Are you going to be with the, what are we actually doing? She seems on TV, but directionless. So
Yeah.
give her some direction, and I guess we'll see how that works out. But
I'm gonna disagree a little bit about the whole Marina Shafir thing, mostly because we tried her being by herself when she was the problem, and it was like it wasn't happening. It wasn't sparking when it should have sparked. Like more so, I remember her theme song, and it's like, why is she? When will the beat drop? This whole strings all the way through is not a good theme song. I'm sorry. Anyway, so I do think for Marina, they're finding her footing. I don't like. I'm not going to call it the Moxley Vortex. I just don't think that Chris doesn't need this faction. I will agree with you. We were all high. We all had hopes when it was her and Stokely, but just stop that. And it's just like, ugh. What? Like I want when you do something like that and you switch it up so abruptly. I need a reason. I need a reason of why you broke up that tag team of her and Stokely, because I thought that was working. The last direction was her and Willow being in this frenemy vortex, and that really wasn't good because again, her, Willow, and Stokely, you kind of just messed that all up. Like you really just blew that whole storyline to hell. So hopefully they're like, yeah, let's just move away from that, and just let her just do some matches. That's what I love about AEW. When in doubt, just wrestle it out until we get to where we need to go.
Yeah. I guess we'll see what happens with Statlander. We got the Callis family here. He wants to get straight to the point. Kazuchika Okada has joined the Callis family. They take a look down at the beatdown of Kenny Omega. Schiavone says he's rather sick about the whole thing. Callis mocks Schiavone and calls Omega out, who is against the wall and all alone and all in. But cue Mark Briscoe. He says he's Omega's friend, not his only friend though. And Kota Ibushi is back. Let's see. Ibushi gets in the ring and kicks Josh Alexander in the head, which was nice. I'm happy to see Kota Ibushi back. Him and Okada go toe to toe, face to face. For people that aren't aware of their history in New Japan, this could be a little like, okay, it is what it is. I hope that most people at least are aware of Kota Ibushi. I mean, he's been around before in AEW, so they've seen him at least there if they're AEW fans. And they've become familiar with Okada. This are people that, maybe never pay attention to New Japan, never watch it, don't know what's going on at all. They become familiar with Okada. So in some respect, hopefully people got this. Obviously, they don't understand, unless you pay attention to the history. But, at least the importance of these two being face to face. So that was cool. Then they end up slugging it out. We're gonna, and then let's see. Oh yeah, I think that was basically it because then we went to commercial as they were slugging it out. So what do you think of this? And then we'll talk about when we came back from commercial because it was a whole different situation when we came back from. This was a weird situation because like we had this little segment and then we go to commercial and come back to another that's not a match either. But we'll get there. But it was kind of a weird little segment here all the way around.
In theory, this should have worked because Okada. I'm sorry. I'm saying it right. Okada Ibushi.
Oda. Kota
Kota
Ibushi.
Ibushi. So this was a year or two ago at All In, where he joined Omega versus the
Yep.
versus BBC and BCC, Blackpool Combat Club.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
that's before there were Dutch Riders. Yeah.
and yeah, and it was they did their I want to call it Hell in a Cell so bad. What they called over here? Not War Games. What's the freaking dang on it? Blood and guts, blood and guts,
Well, good.
blood and guts. And when he came out and no one really reacted, it's like y'all freaking dropped the freaking ball, bro. It's like it
Right.
really was like y'all dropped the ball. This should have been a bigger thing. Why is this on Collision? It's just like I want to scream. I want to scream until my lungs are raw. But it really is like, yeah, should have done a better job with Coda, man. I don't know. So I don't know the situation. Maybe he need to go back to Japan. Maybe he couldn't stay for the whole thing. But it really is like this should have been a bigger moment, and I am a little sad that it wasn't. Because it was like Kota Ibushi's back, but it's like really no one cares. If that's what that like, crowd reaction, no one really cares. And so hopefully they do a video package because sorry, spoiler alert, they're gonna do Okada versus Kota next week for the 300 episode of Dynamite. So but no, it's next week, so no video package necessary. So yeah, hopefully people will care on Dynamite, but yeah, that's the only thing that went through my mind. It's like they dropped the ball with Coda, man. Like, damn.
Yeah. So then we come back from break and we've got Big Bill and Brian Keith fighting with the workhorsemen on the floor. They get the better of them. They choke slam JD Drake onto 4 open chairs. And then for some reason, here comes Christian Cage and the patriarchy. And Cage, yeah, right. It doesn't really. But this whole thing was weird. Like I said, the whole
It was weird as
transition,
hell.
right? So started with Mark Briscoe before the thing, and the Okada stuff, and then Ibushi, and then all of a sudden go to break, come back, and Big Bill and these guys are just fighting at ringside. No match, no nothing. They're just fighting at ringside, I guess. And then Christian Cage and the Patriarchy come out, and Big Bill and them just kind of go away. And Christian Cage talks about how proud he is of Nick Wayne, his son, Nick Wayne. If I hear him say my son one more time, he must have said my son 35 times in a little 2-minute
My
promo. Like,
son.
my
Yeah.
son Nick Wayne, like he wants to be the first father-son championship. Dude, he's not your real son, bro. You can't be the first father-son
Yeah.
championship duo. He's not your real son. Nonetheless, that's what Christian Cage wants. And you know, I
Yeah.
guess Big Bill mocks Mother Wayne. Big Bill talks shit about Mother Wayne being a whore, essentially. And yeah, it's basically what it is. I mean,
This is
you know,
weird. This was
right?
hella weird. It feels okay. I'm not sure if Big Bill is just going off of the whole Christian Cage and fake son thing, but it's like we all know this isn't his real son because his real dad was a professional wrestler, right? And so when Big Bill drops the line of "Is that your real son?" because listen, hearing the news about Mother Wayne, she's had a whole lot of dudes that could be your dad. That could be. It's like, sir, that made it more. It's like, sir, I'm not sure Big Bill knew or not, but it's like, sir, we know that this is not his dad, and his dad
Right.
died, and it's like, so this is for you making it. This isn't a good line for evidently you. Yeah, you and Brian Keith are, I guess, the baby faces in this scenario. You're the baby faces, but it's like, no, sir, his dad died tragically. This is not a good line because even like you do realize this isn't his real son. So it made it hella weird. And I think Big Bill kind of sensed it when everybody wasn't like no one was really getting him a joke. It's like, no, we know who his real dad is. And so either way, what happened to Nick Wayne and Christian Cage breaking up? It's like this is so weak. Like Like I said, not directionless, but fuck, we made a hard right, and no one told anybody. So we're just and it's like, hold up, wait. I guess we're doing Nick Wayne and Christian versus Big Bill and Brian Keith. Fine. I kind of like the route of breaking up Nick Wayne and Christian Cage, but I guess we're not doing that. Sure, but yeah, it was a very hard ride that really didn't land that well.
Yeah, and my question is so Christian and them come out, they interrupt what's going on with Big Bill and Brian Keith. They talk some shit. Big Bill and Brian Keith engage back. Now it looks like we're getting those four. What does that do for putting them any closer to the tag team titles that the Hurt Syndicate hold? Like, I mean, Christian wants to be world tag team champions. Well, Big Bill and Brian Keith aren't world tag team champions. They've already lost to the Hurt Syndicate and been beat up by the Hurt Syndicate several times. So, is the idea that if they beat the Hurt or if they beat Big Bill and Brian Keith, now they get a shot at the Hurt Syndicate? That seems really dumb because Big Bill and Brian Keith are hardly the gatekeepers for the Hurt Syndicate or the tag team division. They keep losing. So the whole thing is a little weird to me. Like, if you want the tag team titles, give that promo when the Hurt Syndicate's in the ring, not when Big Bill and Brian Keith are in the ring. So, okay.
It's like this was so weird. And hopefully they just like do the magic collision and hit and quit it. That's it, please and thank you.
Let's see. Anthony Bowens is not happy with Billy Gunn and the way he's taken a couple losses recently. It seems that Bowens is blaming Billy Gunn. Anything you want to say about that?
So he wasn't really blaming Billy Gunn. It was more so he was saying that we were all saying, like, if he's gonna come back and be a major player, he needs to win some freaking matches. And so it was more so a frustrating being let out. And I'm like, we totally agree. The only thing is, where do we put him? And like right now, the field is stacked, and that's gonna say we need a direction, but maybe a good feud, and then we'll like let's start off with just having him in a good feud, and then take it from there. Because yeah, I do believe that he should be a premier player in AEW, but right now it's just like he's directionless, and for certain people it's fine because if you make it to a certain status, you just wrestling, going out there and wrestling, it's entertaining enough, and we'll find something to do later. For him, that is not a good case for him. We need to find direction for him before it's too late.
I don't know whose Cheerios the Acclaimed kissed in or whose wife they slept with, but somebody did something. Somebody did something because the Acclaim is getting fucked right and left by the AEW at the moment. Like, what they've done to Max Caster is terrible. And I thought they were going to be okay to Anthony Bowens for a minute, but now he's taking losses and now he's going to be nothing here in a minute, another loss or two, especially if they split him up from Billy Gunn. I mean, nothing against Anthony Bowens, but Billy Gunn really is the one that had them over with the Sister Me stuff and the daddy.
Yeah.
I mean, Billy Gunn has it, right? He always has, right? And so, and Bowens definitely is not a slouch. Bowens can give a good promo. He's got a ton of energy. He's infectious, all those things. But like Billy Gunn carried them for a while as far as making them as popular as they are. So if you take them away from Billy Gunn, I mean, now you got Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. They must have done something to somebody because they're what they're getting right now is terrible. So let's see. Jet Speed. Go ahead.
I was like, it was inevitable. Like, it felt like they weren't going anywhere as a group, but you need a plan if you want to break them up. So hopefully a plan will come out eventually.
Yeah. Jet Speed versus Gates of Agony. Ricochet on commentary. Ricochet made a comment about how fun it is to see Speedball Mike Bailey get his head kicked in by Bishop Khan, I think it was at one point. Yeah, I mean, Ricochet was in his bag here, being a heel and doing his thing. It took a while for me to get on board with the whole Ricochet heel thing because for a while it didn't feel like he felt comfortable, but he's grown into it a lot, it feels like to me. So commentary, he was great. The match is what it is. I love Kevin Knight and I love Mike Bailey, so Jet Speed for me is a fun tag team. I'm also here for Gates of Agony. I think they're the kind of tag team that that should be on the main stage competing for the tag team championships. I mean, there's nothing. I don't see any flaw in the Gates of Agony. Maybe their talking could leave a little to be desired, but they don't even get an opportunity to do that all that much. I mean, so
Yeah,
I don't know that we've even seen them be able to really hit their stride on that. So, but this match was fine. Um, Bishop Khan gets the win. Oh no! I'm sorry. Jet Speed got the win.
yeah,
Um, after and Kevin Knight got the pin on Bishop Khan. I Mike Bailey's been getting a push individually in AEW. He's been on TV a lot, been getting a lot of TV time. And Kevin Knight has gotten a little bit of a push too. So I guess it doesn't really surprise me that they got the win here. The only thing that surprises me, and I guess technically they're a tag team, but they, even though they have a name and even though they've been wrestling together for a tag team, I still think of Mike Bailey, especially as a singles wrestler. So it feels like Jet Speed, even though they have a name and whatever, it's still kind of Frankenstein. And Gates of Agony is a true tag team. They've always been that way since I've seen them. So as far as I'm concerned, they should, I don't know. It feels like they should still be maybe getting the wins here. But again, Mike Bailey's been getting the push, and so has Kevin Knight, and they're the baby faces. So I guess I understand why they get the win here. What do you think of this match and them? And just what do you think of this match? About that?
listen. I think y'all realize that me and Gates and Agony have a relationship going on, and I love them dearly in my heart, like right here in the bosom, in the chest. Um, uh, I think they're great, and so every time they lose, it's just like boo. Why? Even if it's the newcomer Speedball and Kevin Knight, my focus is more so in my mind. I feel as though Speedball and Kevin Knight will be okay. I don't feel the same for Gates of Agony, so I think they needed this win more so. I love the idea with Ricochet and Shane Taylor Productions, but him with Case of Agony, I love that even more. So it really is like that's why I want him to win. And so it's just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Because like, yeah, him with these two behemoths trying to control, like that's just hilarious saying it. Ricochet trying to be the boss of these two behemoths, and it never works out for him. That's gold on television. It's instant money, and so it's like, nope, we're just gonna let Speedball and Kevin Knight win. It's like, okay, fine, boo, whatever. And more so, this is a person. This is a personal preference. Like I do know that Speedball and Kevin Knight are going to go for the tag team title, so I know why they should win whenever. But I'm like, I love Gates and Agony, and they need to win, and I wanted them to win. But this was a good match. It definitely was.
I mean, for what it was, it's a good match. I mean, I Jet Speed's a solid mid card tag team. Gates of Agony probably deserve a little bit more, and with Ricochet, they would be good. They would be equally as good with Ricochet, if not better than Shane Taylor Productions would be. I mean, I'd be happy with either of those setups. Um,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I think yeah, in the vacuum, it was a fine match, and on the dynamite, I mean, on the collision, it's perfect for collision. So you're probably not going to get this match on a dynamite, and maybe that's fair. So on collision is where you see it, and I was happy to see it. It was fun.
Sure.
Uh, Main event time. Thekla. I'm sorry, let me rephrase this. Athena and her minions,
Yes.
Thekla, Megan Bain, and Penelope Ford versus Queen Aminata, Anna Jay, the recently returned Ty Mello, and the surprising by her absence 2 weeks ago in Arena, Mexico, Thunder Rosa, who actually, I mean, she's been here. I think she's got something going on because she's been back and like here and gone. Like she came back 2 or 3 months ago and was here for like a match and then was gone for another couple weeks and came back for a match and then was gone for a while and then came. It's like she's had like 3 matches over the last 4 months since she's been back, and it feels like she's kind of been here and gone. So I wonder if she's got like something else going on in general. But needless to say, 8 quality women in the ring all
Yes.
can go. I mean, you might question whether Anna Jay and Ty Mello or maybe even Penelope Ford are like the rest, but nonetheless, Athena's amazing. Megan Bain has done what she's done. We're slowly learning about Tekla. If you watched her compete against Mercedes last week, you know how good she is. Oh no, I'm sorry, Queen Aminata, not Mercedes. I
No,
apologize.
I'm not.
In
Yeah.
her victory last week against Queen Aminata, which was an amazing match. You
Mhm.
saw how good she is. And if you're familiar with AEW, you pay attention, you know how good Queen Aminata is, and Thunder Rosa is Thunder Rosa. So, I enjoyed this. I'm happy the women got the main event. Um, I think this is a perfect match for a collision. I know that Tony wants all these shows to be equal. I get that. But the reality is that at the moment they're not. And this, you do have certain people that are mainstays on Dynamite. And as a result, you got to put the other people that people like on another show. And Collision's that show. So, I think this is perfect for that show.
Mhm.
And I like it. Again, a lot of people, a lot of chaos, a lot going on. 8 people, 8-person tag match. You don't get to see everything, but you bookmark it with the men and then the women in the main event. Could have done it the other way, so I'm happy to see the women get the spot as opposed to it go the other way. And the women open the show. I mean, I guess they say opening and closing are the two big spots, but still, I think the main event and closing is still the biggest spots. And I'm interested to see. It feels like there was a little Thunder Rosa Athena heat up here, maybe, and Athena doesn't have an opponent for Supercard of Honor in 3 weeks either for her belt. I don't know if that
Mhm.
would be Thunder Rosa, but they did have a little face to face a couple times, and ultimately Athena did hit Thunder Rosa with her title to get the pin and the win for her team. So Thunder Rosa could have a bit of a bone to pick and want a shot at that Ring of Honor championship. So I wouldn't mind that at all in Athena versus
Oh yeah.
Thunder Rosa potentially. Or Supercard of Honor, sorry, Supercard of Honor.
Right.
So what do you think of this, the main event, and yeah, the show in general? Give me your grade, then I'll give you my grade. If you want me to give you my grade
So
first.
yeah, this main event for Collision was a great main event. All of these girls are good. I was gonna say all these girls are great. Again, love Athena is on my television because she is so freaking yummy, man. And then her and Hervig Bane doing the whole holding two girls with the fadeaway suplex, and then came back up, and they're both like, yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh, why did y'all take us? Why did you not give us this sooner of Athena on my television? I know she's Ring of Honor, but you could have done a couple of matches on Collision, man. It's like just watching her is just so freaking great. They said on commentary that her and that Thunder Rosa had been dropping by Ring of Honor for a minute, so that probably is the setup for Super Card of Honor. Uh, but this was so well done, and all of these I'm very happy to see all of these girls. They're in my opinion, they're doing a great job making Bane still keeping us on our television. It is kind of weird the dynamics between her and Penelope Ford. It's like, isn't Penelope Ford supposed to be Megan Bane's minion? She's kind of controlling Megan Bane. I'm not sure how I feel about that just yet. It's just like
All
Megan
right.
Bane should be this unpowerful force, and down the road it might lead up to a powerful, what you call it, switching the angle of, oh snap, she turned on Penelope. Maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know, but I'm like, they're like, all right, let's just clarify that Megan Bane is the chick, and she will probably hurt Penelope in some kind of capacity. But yeah, no, this was a great. This was a great match. Oh, my overall grade of Collision from last Saturday, I'm going to give it a solid B. A solid B. Like I said, Saturday show, you had nothing to do. I want to be entertained. I was thoroughly entertained. We didn't do a whole lot of, we didn't do 10 steps forward towards All In, but we did do enough. That Tony Storm promo was delicious as always. And future wise, we're gonna, like, the girls being more promoted on the television show. That's a plus too. That thing really pissed me off. I mean, like, when I say pissed me off, like atrociously stupid. Like, I have my preferences of who should win, who should win, who should lose. But preference wise, nothing was done stupidly. So B.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was right there. I was gonna say, I think it's a B too. I mean, I don't want to sound like we're just all, I'm just, but
No.
but no, I mean, I thought it was a B too. I mean, it maybe teetered on a bit of a B minus just because there was a couple things, but at the same time, I mean, I think I'm gonna go with a B as well. So, I thought it was a very solid show. It was enjoyable, and it was definitely. I'm trying to. It was better than. Well, I guess last week's was Grand Slam. It wasn't Grand Slam Mexico, was it? Or no, it was Summer Blockbuster. It was Grand Slam Mexico. I don't
Yeah,
remember
no,
what
no.
last
We
week
did
was.
both. We did Grand Slam Mexico and Summer Slam. Sorry, Summer Blockbuster, and and Grand Slam Mexico
And
won.
they both were Dynamite and Collision, right? They were both the both
Yeah.
shows. Or
So
I'm trying
no.
to
So
remember.
Summer Blockbuster was
Blockbuster
Collision
was
and
both
Dynamite, and Grand Slam was just Dynamite.
Dynamite. It was the two an
Yeah.
hour and 25-minute Dynamite or 2.5 hour Dynamite, right? Instead of
Yeah.
the 4 hour whatever. So,
Yeah.
I thought that this week's was better than the back half of the summer blockbuster 4 hour, I guess technically the last collision they had, right? So I thought this
Yeah.
was better than that. So I think collision, is getting better, so yeah, no, I liked it. I mean, I think B is a solid score. All right, so moving along to Dynamite from Wednesday. Miss Anika will lead the conversation on this. And take it away, Miss Anika.
In a way, we go. Hi. Hi. It was Dynamite. It was from June. Today is the 28th. So Thursday is 27th. Friday. So Friday
It was the
27th, Thursday
25th.
the 25th. It was 25th. It was a good show. It wasn't anything. It wasn't a special TV show. It was just Dynamite, but it was still good. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. So our opening segment, we see everyone coming in from the parking lot. Like, hey, she arrived. Hey, he arrived. And Tony Storm, again in her Carmen San Diego, had arrived with Mr. Luther. I was trying to say Mr. Luther. But here comes Mercedes Monet out of nowhere to beat the crap out of Tony Storm. And so she was dragging her all through the freaking backstage, hitting her on the little crates. And I love Tony Storm. Sorry, Mercedes come out. Welcome to Dynamite. It's like, yeah. And it's like, no, heel. We're beating her up, even though it is a great way to start the show. So it says you get her behind whip from the backstage. They go to the what you call it? They go to the ramp, the entrance, and she continuously just whipping her behind. I want to again. She just say it. She's like, "How dare you think that you're gonna beat me?" And the beat down continues. Here comes Mina Shirakawa. Shirakawa. I said it
Yeah,
right enough.
Kawa.
And so and to ward off Mercedes just hands up. She just walks away. Here comes all the refs and the special people, and they announced so next week's Dynamite will be 300. It will be Mina versus Mercedes Monet. That should be delicious. This was a very great way to start off Dynamite. It's like sometimes you need a promo. Sometimes I just want to see people beat the crap out of each other. So I approve of all of this. Any thoughts?
I think it's probably debatable when it comes to Tony Storm and Mercedes Monet, who at times is the better talker or who for their career is the better talker. Obviously, right now, Tony Storm is in her bag with this
Yes.
character, and she's killing her right now in the promo battles. But I think that Mercedes Monet has shown out a little bit more in the physical interactions. So,
Yes.
and she definitely wore her out here. I mean, she put it on Tony Storm here. So, I think that maybe that's a little bit of the storyline. Tony talks a little better. Mercedes might wrestle a little bit better. So maybe that balance. I mean, it has to be done in the ring. So we'll see what ends up happening. Right, the wrestling is the one that should ultimately, I guess, win out.
Yeah.
But we'll see what ends up happening. No, I like this. I thought it was a nice way to begin. Mina versus Mercedes should be fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if any one of those 6 championships are on the line. I didn't necessarily get that
It is.
impression. Um,
It might have
but
been a TBS, but it didn't say.
right. If it is, I we'll see what ends up happening there. I mean, ultimately, this feels a little predictable because I can't imagine they're going to have Mercedes lose, a week before All In. But you never know. I mean, I guess, stranger things have happened, I suppose, over the history of wrestling. Um, but I like this. I mean, and her should be fun, and I'm very excited at this point. I'm trying to think. I mean, honestly, right now, when I look at it, I think that the match I'm most excited for it all in is probably Mercedes and Tony Storm at the moment. I mean, Hangman and Moxley is fun, but I'm a little bored with Moxley at the moment.
Mhm.
Um, and I think I feel it's like 75-25, 80-20 that Hangman gets the win, whereas Mercedes and Tony, it feels very 50-50 to
Yeah.
me. So that's the match that's the one I think I'm most excited for right now if we're all in. So I thought this worked well, and I enjoyed this. I thought it builds all up even more. So all in even more. So yeah, I was
No,
here for it.
no, totally agree with you on that. That it feels more feels more unpredictable than Moxley versus Hangman, which makes it a better match. So right now, they're definitely there. And it's like, choose your strengths. If Tony's killing it, we don't gotta go tit for tat. Yeah, just let Mercedes keep beating her up. I totally approve of this message. Then we have Nicholas and Matthew Jackson being our illustrious EVPs of All Elite and using their powers to be like, hey, so we're gonna give Swerve and Osprey a match against Christian Blake and Lee Johnson. And so they're hearing Osprey's music. Osprey's like, okay, fine, bet. So he's just taping his rust while he's walking down the ramp, and then you have Swerve, and so Swerve is a little bit more calmer. He puts a t-shirt on, take it off. Semantics, it's fine. The illusion that they weren't ready was there, so I appreciate that. Even though, why would you put your t-shirt on and take it off? It's fine, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. And so, match wise, this was a great match. We're still getting to know Christian Blake. Yeah, Christian Blake and I was gonna say Lee Johnson been here for a minute, but more so Christian Blake. We're still getting to know them, and to them as a tag team together, still getting to know them.
Like
Of
Blake
course,
Christian.
Blake. I'm like Christian Blake sounds weird. Blake Christian,
Yeah,
thank
Blake
you.
Christian.
Yeah, Lee
Great
Johnson
name,
been here
just
for a
don't work.
minute, but we're still getting to learn Blake Christian, and they are a good tag team, but it's Osprey and Swerve. So the first half of it went down like it's supposed to be, where Osprey and Swerve are dominating. The EVP saw this and didn't like it, so they go down to the ring to distract them, and it worked. It gave Christian and Blake Christian and Lee Johnson the upper hand. But all in all, Osprey and Swerve wins, and Osprey is all hyped up with the mic bro, and he's like, you know what? We're tired of y'all using your powers for evil. Basically, no, sorry, abusing your powers. So how about at all in you put your EVP titles on the line? And Swerve said at first he echoed like they both had the same sentiment. So basically, like we tired of the EVP bull, and so he said bull crap, but again, it's okay, whatever. And so it's like, what? Put the EVP titles on their line. And then of course and so before anything happens, Nicholas and Matthew are smart. They put the security guards in front of him, in front of Osprey and Swerve, but Swerve with his swerve stump from the top rope, like your freaking Batman takes everybody out. Great little stunt there. But the EVPs are already up the ramp, and that was the end of our first match. What are your thoughts? And what are your thoughts about the match that's probably going to happen at All In? More so, it can't just be the EVP titles on the line. Now it's like, so in my mind, I'm like, so what do Nicholas and Matthew get if they lose? Because smart wrestlers, it's not going to just be our titles are on the, like if we lose our titles. You got to lose something if y'all lose. So I wonder if they're still debating on what that should be. But right now it's like interesting. Okay, but great match, great first match for AEW. Your thoughts?
I think it's good for Blake Christian and Lee Johnson to get the spot against Osprey and Swerve. I think even with, the EVPs moving the match from where it was supposed to be in the card to the beginning of the show to try to catch Osprey and Swerve off guard.
Yeah.
Still doesn't give it enough predictability for anyone to think that Blake
Right.
Christian and Lee Johnson
Exactly.
are actually beating Osprey and Osprey and Swerve. So in that regard, it's very predictable on who was going to get the win. Um, the only thing that wasn't predictable is what was going to, how it was going to end. Either Osprey and Swerve get the win, or someone was going to come in and break it up, and there was going to be a DQ
Right.
or something. There's no way Johnson and whatchamacallit, Christian are going to beat
Blake
them
Christian.
clean.
Yes.
Right, are going to beat them clean. So in that regard, it is what it is. Um, the ending, or the post match stuff. Swerve looks cool, doing what he does. The Bucks putting the EVP titles on the line. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, the Bucks they're not stupid, and wrestling has been done forever, and the trope is, okay, you guys get something, we get something. So the next week's promo is going to be the Bucks are going to say, okay, we'll accept your challenge if you do XYZ. Swerve is banned, can't compete for the title, and Osprey has to go to Collision or something dumb. I mean, they're going to do
Like,
something, or
what
they got to
could
hold
it
their
be?
back for a month, or who knows what it could be. They'll come up with something. Um,
Yeah.
Here's the problem with that stuff, and we won't know until the stipulation.
Right.
I mean, I suppose there's some world, but like in my mind, there's a very, very, very small percentage that we get, EVP Swerve and Osprey. I just don't. That just doesn't seem
No.
right to me. So
Yeah.
I can't imagine the Bucks are losing those titles, right? For what they're worth. I mean, not championship titles, but the title of EVP to these guys. So it
Right.
feels a little predictable in that the Bucks are probably going to get the win. But again, it is Swerve and Osprey, so you don't. I mean, two guys that to lose clean, you have to do a particular way, right? So either the
Yeah.
Bucks lose, but either the Bucks win by shenanigans, which is definitely the elite's forte. So I can see that, or you have to do something special to show. And don't get me wrong, the Bucks are special. So if someone could beat Osprey and Swerve together, I suppose it could be the Bucks. They're one of the best tag teams ever, and currently on the planet. So it's not unbelievable, but you got to do it in the right way, because Swerve and Osprey taking losses is very like, how do you beat those guys, right? Ever.
Right.
So and both of them together is like, whoa. So we'll see how the match ultimately plays out. Though I'm sure there'll be another added stipulation, and I can't imagine that the Bucks are losing their EVP position. So in that regard, I don't know. I mean, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. The match will be amazing, no matter what. I mean, the four
Right.
guys are insanely good. So I mean, it should be amazing.
Like, it's still arguable. It's still arguable, but right now, I will still put the Young Bucks as the best tag team ever. So them versus Osprey and Swerve will be a great match. Yeah. that-
So you have them over the Hardy Boys like ever?
right. Wrestling now, they're the
Wrestling
great tag
current
team ever.
match.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Right now, I can't think of anyone who would be who's better than the Young Bucks right now. That's just me.
Okay. Okay. I thought you
In
were
the
saying like
world,
all
no,
time, and I'm not saying they're not better than the Hardy Boys. I'm just saying that's a
they're
spicy
not.
take.
Let's
They're not.
let's not do this.
They're not.
We have time. We don't have time for this, but they're not okay. But no, that stipulation of what happened if Osprey and Swerve lose, it has to be good. So after that, we get a backstage segment of Nicholas and Matthew are like, Swerve, you injured the freaking security guards and stuff. So you're suspended from the building because y'all are stupid. And I love y'all for being stupid. And here come the Callis family and a little bit tit for tat, a little bit of Rocky Romero, like, look at this. No one thought back in the New Japan days for Punky Bias and y'all were over at the Bullet Club. No one would ever thought we would be working together. And they're like, no, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, all right, bye. And so that was hilarious to me. And like you said, Collision showed us that Kota Ibushi is now with the Cows family. It's kind of weird because it's like I kind of still wanted him officially with the Elite. I didn't want him to be with the Cows family. That was just me. But like, I wish it was just a partnership. I didn't need him to be officially with the Cows family. That's just me though. But it's like right
Okada,
now
you
we're
mean
all good.
Okada?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Okada. Okada. Yeah, Okada.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you said Ibushi.
Okada is with the Callis family, and I
I
wanted
was
them.
like,
I
wait a
still
second,
wanted him to be officially with the elite. Oh, was it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
thought
No,
I
I'm
missed
like,
something
no,
somewhere because you said Ibushi. I was like, oh, shit, wait, did I miss?
it's too many freaking K's. I'm so like, and y'all
Yeah,
know me. I
it's
don't
hard to
know
keep.
this stuff. So,
It's hard to keep all the names straight for sure, 100%.
well, this me personally. My bad. Don't blame it on my head and my heart.
Uh,
But yeah.
It's
So,
all good.
oh God, Okada. Yeah, I still wanted Okada to be officially with the EVPs. I'm like, right now we're all together, but I still want him to be officially with the EVPs. More so because after everyone leaves, we have Takeshita still lurking around. We have an intense stare down between Okada and Takeshita. We still didn't get that match for whatever reason. We still didn't do that one. It's like, can y'all please stop making us wait for stuff? And evidently, y'all forgot. Thankfully, they didn't forget because yes, we still want this match. Anything you want to say about this backstage segment?
You know, it is what it is. I mean, I the whole thing around wanting to hurt Kenny, I guess, unites all these guys. At this moment in time, they're all doing a great job because I hate them all at the moment.
Yes.
So they're all slimy weasels. They're all, when they're on the TV, it's like, these guys suck, all of them. But that's exactly what's supposed to be happening. So, no,
Mm-hmm.
in that regard, they're all doing their job. So, I think it's fine. I mean, the stuff between the Bucks and the Callis family and the Elite versus the Callis family is interesting. And Okada being with the Callis family, you know, again, it is what it is. I mean, there's a lot of storytelling here that if you don't know anything about New Japan or the Bucks or anything, and all you've ever watched is AEW television,
Yeah.
you might not get, which I have a little, about because, I get it. You guys are with Tony and your, this is your company as far as the Bucks go to a certain extent. And I get it. So I get the inside jokes and it's for the guys that really pay attention and the girls that really know what's up. But for some of us that maybe don't know as well, it can feel a little off-putting sometimes. Like you're not necessarily in on the inside joke. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, well, fuck you guys. Like, so, and don't get me wrong, that's part of what the Elite like to do too. So from a storyline kayfabe standpoint, it makes sense. They just gotta watch that in real life as far as how it affects the fans and how the fans feel about it. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
give us too much that we don't know about, like you said,
Yes.
we don't care. If we don't know, we don't care. It just is what it is. It's just filler that we don't care about. And so, and if we don't care about it, it makes it a lower segment, graded segment, or a lower. It makes you not
Yes.
care about the segment. The fact that it's just the Young Bucks, or that if you're a big Okada fan, or that it's just Okada on TV, doesn't change the fact that if you don't know what the fuck they're talking about, it's like, what do I care? What this makes no sense. What am I even watching this for? So in that regard, you just got to make sure and just keep it a little bit less inside jokey for people that don't know what's going on. But again, it is what it is. I thought it was fine.
Right. So next we have Kota Ibushi,
Ooh.
his first return match, and against Trent Beretta. This we're talking about a little more later in the back. He's like, we'll take care of Kota for you. Like, thank you, yeah. And so I'm not gonna compare it to his former stuff because I don't know. But so as of right now, Kota right now, he looks good. The arms look sick. And more so with Trent Beretta, he looks good too. So this is a very good welcome back match. And of course, Kota Ibushi won, well actually should. And then here comes Okada coming out to do a stare down. And and next week, Dynamite 300, we're going to get Kota Ibushi versus Okada. And that should be very delicious. Uh, you look so hyped up for this match. So please describe this match and tell us your thoughts of this match. Kota Ibushi versus Trent Beretta.
I'm a fan of both of these guys. I'm a huge fan of Trent Beretta. I mean, I think he's one of like the most underrated wrestlers in the world. I was happy when he got away from Best Friends. I know everybody loved him with Best Friends. I like him with the Callis family. I like him as a heel. Um, and I thought this was perfect. These are two guys I really like. They both are extremely technical and successful strikers. So you get a good mixture of both. Um, you got Rocky Romero in the background who gets his little shots in because he's Trent's guy. There's a lot of history here as far as New Japan goes too. These guys have all been in New Japan and have circled each other plenty of times there as well. So it's just fun to see because I like both these guys a lot, and I'm excited for both of them back. Trent Beretta is back in full force. He's been back for a while, but he's back in full force and in matches against guys like Kota Ibushi. Makes my heart very happy. I have more of a history with Trent Beretta than I do with Kota Ibushi, but I enjoy them both very much. I thought this was a great match. I think Trent deserves more. We'll see what deserves more. I mean, he got a lot of time when he was with Best Friends. Him and Orange Cassidy had a lot, but it was him and Orange Cassidy. And I don't want to say that Orange Cassidy, again, here's another situation. I don't want to shackle it with the Jericho Vortex. Cassidy's a way different situation. But again, when you have a situation where you have a group of 3, 4, 5 people and one has more of an it factor than the rest and stands out, by default, they come to the front and the rest fall back a little. And Orange Cassidy was the big front person of that Best Friends group. And Trent and Chuck were there along for the ride. Chuck, I'm fine with. I'm not a Chuck fan at all. But Trent was kind of along for the ride. And like the stuff with his mom and that kind of stuff. It was fun, with Sue and all those things. It was fun. But he's so good that I want him to be taken serious. And this is a theme over things I've said in the past, right? I mean, I've talked about feeling that way about our truth or wrong killings. I felt that way about whatchamacallit, Ron Simmons. I want these guys that end up becoming what feels more like jokey guys that are really, really good to not be that. And Trent McKenna, I didn't want to see him become the the baby face that just kind of a jokey guy that no one takes serious because he's a phenomenal wrestler and he's a really good talker. He's got all the tools to be a really great professional wrestler and a superstar. So I hope that in the Callis family, because they're a main event faction, that hopefully he'll start to get more traction. And he's on Dynamite here against a guy that's coming back that people know and a lot of people love in Kota Ibushi. To be fair, he takes the loss, which is what it is. You say Kota Ibushi should be beating Trent Beretta. Probably mostly just because of the way that they've treated Trent Beretta over his AEW career as a singles wrestler and putting some stank on how good Kota Ibushi is. For the people that don't know, he's coming back. He's supposed to be great, this really great wrestler. He comes, he's vouched for by Kenny Omega, who's everybody knows is, him and Osprey, maybe the two greatest wrestlers on the planet at the moment. It's all debatable what you like, but he's right in that conversation. And him and Kota are best friends. And, he wouldn't be in a tag team with a guy that's a slouch in the ring. So Kota
It's
can
true.
go, all that thing. So Kota getting the win, I guess, makes some sense, especially since he's been back. But I don't want Trent to take too many losses either. I want him to be able to get some wins and to show out. So we'll see what ends up happening. But yes, this made my heart very happy. I enjoyed this a lot. So
No, I agree with you on some stuff. I feel like I still can't believe that Best Friends didn't get the belt right after, like especially after the parking lot brawl match with Pride and Powerful. That's
yeah,
just me. I don't think it's the end for Trent. When I say like the end, like I think I think he can still win some gold. It's a matter of striking while the iron's hot. But right now, yeah, Coda should have won. He did win, and we'll see what happens in the future with Coda being at AEW. This might be a hit and quit it. It might actually be something more, but like just attack the moment while he's here. And him versus Okada is a good, yeah, like yes, this is
yeah,
great. This is what you should be doing. All right.
yeah. No, I agree. And it wouldn't surprise me if Kota gets, I mean, it's for the belt, right? So if Kota gets the
I think
win
so.
and
But
maybe
like
takes the
no,
title from Okada.
I mean, I'm going to say no because you're unifying the belts. So unless we're
Oh, I
getting,
guess that's
yeah, unless you're changing the match for All In, no. But
yeah.
it's
Yeah, yeah,
not.
yeah, that's true.
It's
I
still
guess
gonna be a
that's
good
right,
match.
'cause Okada's got to match Raw, yeah.
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 All right.
Yeah, we'll
All
have
right.
to
So
see. I guess
next,
Cody could go into All In as a champion. I don't know. I didn't even notice if it was a title match or not, honestly. They haven't said. Have they said? I don't think they've
yeah,
even said.
I think
So,
they're just gonna face each other. But if
yeah.
you want to make it a triple threat, I wouldn't be mad at that. But I don't think they're gonna do that. They're not. They're not gonna do that. But that wouldn't suck. That wouldn't suck. All right.
Yeah.
So next week, what?
No, I was just saying, I was just telling you, yeah. All right, I was done talking about the Bushi.
Next, we have the Moxley promo. The best promos he has are on steroids, and this was no different. And so so basically he was like, Hangman, when are you gonna grab it? When are you gonna finally live up to your potential? He's like, you don't be sick because you have all of these gifts and you won't reach for it. And it's like you're not scared, like you're scared. You're not scared of facing me. You're not scared of failure. You're scared of being the person you're supposed to be. He's like, me, I'm not special. So me being champion and walking the path I walked, you made me sick because you're supposed to be there. And so I love it. And so he's like, July 12th, I'm going to show you what a champion looks like. I'm going to spark you on your head. I'm going to choke you into I want to choke you into oblivion. July 12th. I'm basically going to beat you. And short and sweet, I loved it. I loved every part. Like the best Moxley promos are short and sweet and to the point. And it's just like you made me sick because you're supposed to be this you're supposed to be champion and you're not doing it. So I'm gonna beat you up because of that. And it's just like I look like you're promoting Hangman, but you're saying you're going to beat him because he's supposed to be good and he's not. I love it. Any thoughts on this promo?
I thought it was fine. I mean, I enjoyed it. Moxley is a solid promo. Like you said, the acoustics in the stairwell always work well for him. That
Yes.
seems to be his sweet spot. So, I mean, um, Moxley is Moxley in this, I don't want to say anything too negative because the whole point is to have a character that's over, right? And that people can get to know and that all those things, because otherwise you get, the 3 week push, right? Or you get the reinvention 10 times in a 2 year career, right? So I understand, the growth of a character and needing to XYZ and all those things, to make that name for that person. And I think they've done that well with John Moxley over the life of AEW. I just feel like the John Moxley character is become a little one note. I mean, especially since he's been in charge of the Death Riders. It was a little bit less like that when he was in Blackpool, when they were the Blackpool Combat Club. I thought that the kind of the offset of Brian Danielson um, made it feel a little different, but this heel Moxley, Death Riders Moxley is just, I don't know, it's starting to feel like a one note. Doesn't mean it's not enjoyable still. Doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything bad about it. It just is a little one note at times for me. So I'm looking forward to what I think is going, even though I'm not a big Hangman Page fan, what I think is going to be a title change at All In. And then we'll see what that does ultimately for the Death Riders and John Moxley without the title? Is he going to
Yeah.
spiral and do something? Is there something, or is he just going to continue to do what they did when he didn't have the title before, which is hang around and try and chase it down and demand a rematch and all those things until he's, 5-time AEW World Champion? And that I'm not necessarily here for. So
Right.
it all depends on what they do. I kind of hope for Claudio and honestly, for Yuta, maybe not for Marina because we'll see what ends up happening. But I kind of hope that they decide to move away from the Death Riders and do something different, and we maybe get some more Claudio singles success and maybe some Yuta stuff. I don't know, but we'll see.
I get you. All right. And then we have, so before the match starts, we have Pretty Ricky Ricochet talking to AR Fox. He's still trying to recruit people for his new faction. He's like, listen, we go way back. This could work. Come on. Yeah, no, all right, no, all right, fine, let's go. And so, yeah,
In the
Ricochet.
beginning, yes. Again, this is one of those situations where I'm getting real fucking tired of this Ricochet storyline. Like, I was like, Ricochet and AR Fox will be great together. Like, yeah, like, let's give AR Fox some shine. Let's put him with Ricochet. He'll be on TV every week. And then go ahead and tell him what happened to dear old AR Fox.
Don't say that. So we have AR Fox and Ricochet versus Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight. Ricochet really didn't tag in a lot. He let AR Fox do most of the work against the tag team, and AR Fox is great in the ring. Let me that perfectly clear. He's so freaking good. The freaking skills were on point. So the one time Ricochet tags in, Speedball and Kevin Knight make AR Fox run to Ricochet, and off that one little bump, Ricochet's like, you know what? I'm done. I'm over. And so Speedball and Kevin Knight gets the win. No tag partner for Ricochet. I'm not as frustrated as you are, but I do understand your frustration because everyone he has approached could be in his faction, but you're not doing it. And it really is like, okay, so unless we get someone from Lucha Underground that hasn't been on television, who is part of this? It's like it, unless they're going to announce it on at All In, and you're hyping it up. It better be a decent reveal to do this long behind storyline. I agree with you there. Whoever it is, it could have been AR Fox because, like you said, more people who need to be on television need more time. So I agree with your frustration, but overall, it was a good match. It was still a good match. But your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Oh, ALW. Yeah, so I'm going to paraphrase what he said, but I think because you're muted. But yeah, I do understand the frustration of, all right, who's gonna be in this faction? Like who's gonna be in here? And hopefully it'll be someone when the reveal happens, it'll be, oh yeah, that's great. But we don't know who it is yet. So but what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's one thing to do it for a week or two, but now it feels like going on a month or a month and a half. It feels like the last like 6 or 7 promos have all been backstage stuff or things with Ricochet have all been about this. Let's get somebody. Oh no, that's not the right person. Oh, let's try to trick this person, and then say, we already know you're a heel. Like you don't need to establish he's a heel anymore. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so I'm not totally sure. One more for AR Fox, obviously. Post, did you talk? Sorry, I stepped away for a second. Did you talk about post match?
No, not yet. So post
Okay.
match, we have Speedball and Kevin Knight on the mic. He's like, y'all been holding, like we're gonna call out her syndicate. Y'all been holding the tag team titles hostage. It is our time to reclaim them. I was like, have they been holding them hostage? They've been just defending them. They just been great. So like for me, I'm like, that's not really the way I would take it because it's like it's not like you say hostage. My mind goes to Moxley and it's being a briefcase. Though no, they're just defending the titles and winning. Out like as of right now, that haven't even been well. The one time they cheated is because MJF got involved, but that wasn't their business. But it's like as of right now, they're just winning. So evidently, we're going to get Speedball and Kevin Knight versus Her Syndicate at All In. I'm not mad at it, fine, whatever. But I think we could have done better. That's just me. But as soon as they're done with their promo, not even done. But here comes Her Syndicate just to beat them up. It's just like, do y'all not know how to hype up people? Because in my mind, I'm like, they just beat them up. It's like, so what part of this makes me believe they're gonna beat Her Syndicate? There's no part. But they beat them up. MDF's like, All right, now cue the music. So they start. So they cue the Harry Syndicate music. We hurt people. We hurt people, and it's like, what are we doing? What exactly is happening right here? And so they grab the mic. You know, MVP is like, this is what happens when you come at when you come after us. You're gonna get stumped out. We give the mic to MJF. MJF goes on this long soliloquy of how he's gonna get his championship back. Uh, I'm not sure if it's gonna be the gauntlet or not, but he's like, I'm just gonna make a personal request to get my championship back, not Moxley's, not Hangman's, mine. But it feels like it's like, sir, why don't you just enter the gauntlet? You're doing the most. Well, you could just do something simple and then go into the match. But here comes Mark Briscoe, and I love Mark Briscoe because it really does feel like he's off the dome. I want, like, it feels like he's never, this is never pre-planned what he's gonna say, and so he's like, so I'm still part of the conglomeration, and the word of the day is empathy. I empathize with you, uh, MJF. I know you was bullied as a child. I know you was hurt, and that's why I'm gonna empathize with you. And I'm gonna step in your shoes and be a part of and try to see things from your point of view. But as of right now, you gotta man up, son. You gotta man up and just let all that stuff go. Just let it go. And man, it's just like, I love you so much. And of course, MJF has not let it go because he's a freaking man child. And so man child does what? Freaking what you call it? Insult people. And so he's like, well, Mark Briscoe, so you just go back to your freaking state where they do something stupid. And it's like, unlike you, I'm a winner. So when you come, I'm just gonna watch you your next match do what you always do, lose. And it's just like, fine. It's just like, so like, interesting segment. It wasn't a bad segment. It was very interesting. Okay, are we getting MJF versus Mark Briscoe? I'm not mad at it, but it is like, huh? So, any thoughts on this segment?
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of thoughts on it. I think I'm actively angry at the actual tag team segment because AEW is sitting on some of the best tag teams in the world, and
They
we
are.
get the Hurt Business versus Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey. Nothing against Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey and Jet Speed; they're fine as a mid-card tag team. I think they're great
Mhm.
for what they are. But here's the thing: you brought Mike Bailey in; he got a fair amount of Mike Bailey came in with some kind of a name and people were excited. And now
Yep.
you really haven't done anything with him. You put him with Kevin Knight and it hasn't really done a whole lot. So, I don't, Kevin Knight is good, but he's not getting over either particularly well. And this is All In. You've stated that All In is their WrestleMania. And for your
Yes.
tag team championships, you get the Hurt Syndicate versus Jet Speed. When you have FTR, you've got the Young Bucks. You've got plenty of other tag teams that I'm not even, whatever that would be, and I'm not even saying it has to be either of those two, but I'm just talking about in general. Like, this is what's representing your tag team division at your WrestleMania show. So in that regard, yeah, I'm a little actively angry. I mean, I guess it's good for this. I guess it's great for Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey to get that spot, but they're going to lose. Is there any? I mean, do you have any? Is there any doubt that they're losing that match? I mean, there's no way that the Hurt Business is not retaining those championships at whatchamacallit. And as far as
All in.
MVP, yeah, as far as MVP and Briscoe goes, yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean, I was, I laughed at the tiny kosher pickle comment, and then
Oh
kosher
yeah.
pickle chant. That was funny. Briscoe, Briscoe got in some good
Come on.
lines. Um,
Yeah, instead of minute up.
Briscoe,
So
go
you align yourself with two dudes. Y'all have in common. You got little culture pickles. Now,
right, yeah, I mean, Briscoe might not be like the most articulate as far as, whatever, but like he can kind of hold his own with an MJF because he's gritty and grimy, you know what I mean? And he
yes.
says basically anything and he's good at it, so and talking shit. So I thought that came off well. does MJF versus Briscoe move the needle for me? Yeah, I think it would be fun, but I don't know that it's like I've been dying to see that. I mean, I like Mark Briscoe. I don't much like Jet Speed. I don't imagine there's any. I mean, I guess Mark Briscoe has a slight more. If Jet Speed has 5%, Mark Briscoe has a 7% chance of beating MVP or MJF. Like, it's not much more. Like, Mark Briscoe's
Yeah.
not beating MJF, especially not in a big stage. If indeed that's how it works out to be, maybe at All In or something. I don't know. That's not enough for MJF at All In, and yeah, it's too predictable. I think MJF will get the win easily. Not easily, but I think MJF gets the win. So in that regard, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I thought overall the segment was fine. I just think that the tag team titles deserve more. I love Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin is a
Yes.
certified tag team specialist. That's
Mm-hmm.
fine. Bobby Lashley is what Bobby Lashley is. He's not a tag team wrestler. He's a singles wrestler. And he's done a fine job as a tag team, but that's not his lane. And so them already being your tag team champions rubs me a little wrong. And then they're defending them at your biggest show against a mid-card tag team that's essentially a Frankenstein tag team. Like I said before, in last week's Collision, or when we reviewed Collision from last week, they have a name, but they're essentially two singles guys that you put together, just to be a tag team, and it's fine, But again, there's they have zero chance of beating the Hurt Syndicate. There's just no way. So it's okay. So that match is already checked off for the All In card. So we can look forward to some excitement because the match, like we always say, you're in a vacuum. The four men can wrestle, and it should be fine. But as far as big picture goes, there's nothing. There's no meat on the bone, and there's nothing there. I mean, it's just so.
Yeah. Nope. Totally agree with you right there. So now we have a four-way to decide who's going to be the number one entrance in the Men's Casino Gauntlet at All In. We have Takeshita versus Bandito versus Mark Briscoe versus, what is this man's name? Roddy Strong. I'm like, it started with an R. What is it? I'm like, he's really good. But yeah, so we have Bandito versus Takeshita versus Mark Briscoe versus Roderick Strong. You heard the four names I said, so this will be a bigger of a match. And surprise, surprise, it was. Honestly, besides, whatever, you just had the promo with MJF and Mark Briscoe. The only one who's going to win this over Mark Briscoe was Takeshita. It's like, I wouldn't mind that, but surprisingly enough, they let Mark Briscoe win. He will be the first contender, the first entrance in the gauntlet at All In. And yay! It's like, finally, you let Mark Briscoe get a freaking win. Like, certain people, we come on this with AR Fox. If you're gonna keep putting on television and against people, they need a win. So yes, Mark Briscoe winning this, I'm happy for. Match wise, it's like, we could have had Takeshita. That would have maybe been a better option. Just more so who's gonna face Takeshita the first time when whoever comes out. But right now, I'm just happy Mark Briscoe won this. This was a great match. Any thoughts?
I agree. I mean, again, four guys that can really wrestle, so knew what you were going to get when you see him on paper. Everyone showed out and had their spots. I love all four of these guys when it really boils down to it. And yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I was a little surprised to see Mark Briscoe get the win, but I have no problem with it at all.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, and next we have the women's four-way to see who gets the first entrance into the women's gauntlet. We have Statlander versus Athena versus Willow versus Megan Vane. And again, the four names I named is a banger of a freaking match. This one with a little bit more. We're not sure who's going to win. This is a little bit. Because Willow, oh my gosh, and Athena, all in is in Texas, and so in the Statlander, she had that promo with Moxley, so like her we call it her star power just went up just a little bit. So it really was like, who wins? Who like we don't know who wins. Great match, very powerful because like four of them are just Amazons naturally. Willow was in control, but here comes stupid Marina Shafir because they're not done yet. Just have to freaking no. So she has to freaking what do you call it? Distract Willow. Here comes Yuta in the match, and Yuta gets pounced on as he should be, a little nerd. But Statlander takes control. 1, 2, 3. Statlander wins. She'll be the number one entrance in the women's gauntlet. I'm not mad at it, but I am like, we had other options, and I would have loved for it to be Athena. Willow will always be in World Class Wrestling Network hearts, so it is like this was a very hard person to be like, oh, who should be in there? But I'm not mad that's the other one. But we did have other favorites. It's a great match. I am a little bit like perturbed and told us who's going to be in the gauntlet because more so, this is the only time compared to Royal Rumble. You want to know who's going to come out to be a little bit of a surprise. So it's like, okay, so now we know officially Athena's going to be in the gauntlet. I guess no one-on-one match. All is in Texas, but whatever. She better win. That's just all I'm saying. But not putting money on it. But in a vacuum, this match was good. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I all four of these women, and I think this was the pounce that I got confused with when we were talking about Collision last week, because this is the one where Willow knocked Yuta out of his shoes. Like, I mean, she blasted Yuta on that pounce. No, this was fun. All four of these women can wrestle. Reoccurring theme in AEW. This is where the wrestlers wrestle. So all four of these women can wrestle. I was a little surprised again that Chris Statlander out of these three women got the win here, but we'll see what AEW is doing. You do have to have some people in the casino gauntlet match to lose, right? So I'm assuming that Chris Statlander is losing. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but I assume she's not going to win the match. So,
Right.
and I love the way that you talk about Marina Shafir comes down to this when already your girl Athena had already had her little minion involved prior, but that's okay. We won't talk about that. We'll just talk about Marina Shafir being involved.
She got knocked out before Billy can hand her the belt, so it didn't work. I don't want no point of saying anything.
I just like the selective mentioning of who does what. But yes, no, I really enjoyed this. I was surprised when it happened. Not that Steph got the win, but the actual motion in the ring, like it didn't when she grabbed the pile driver and actually hit her and got the pin, like the couple moves before that, it was kind of not a weird sequence at all. I just wasn't expecting it to go there and end at that moment. So, but it did. And Stat got the win. So, we'll see. I mean, she's not going to win the gauntlet. So again, you have to have people to lose. And so in that regard, it's fine. Athena, yeah, I mean, giving away who's in the gauntlet, I agree with what you say. The best thing, the most fun I've ever had watching wrestling was watching it with I had a group of friends that I used to watch it with, and we Royal Rumble every year. You'd sit together, you'd watch it, and before when the clock would start to count down, you'd throw in like some change in the pot and say a name, and if the person you named came out, you get the money in the pot. If not, it just sat there until over and over until someone got it. So no, I mean that's one of the fun things about the Royal Rumble, and that should be something that they do more with these kind of matches where you have people coming out, which is us not knowing who's in them because it's more exciting when the music just hits or whatever. You see them and you're like, oh, match. Or okay, or even when like they've gone beyond even just telling us who's in it. Now they're telling us who's coming in first, who's coming in second, and it's like, can you give us any surprise to anything? Like, fuck, man, at least don't tell us the order. Okay, so now we know Chris Statlander's in. Now we know Athena's in, but at least don't tell us Stat's the first person in. And, like, fuck, at least keep the order a mystery if you're going to tell us who's in it. So, yeah, that's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
But the gauntlet match would still be fun. So.
Yeah. So let me correct myself. It wasn't Megan Bayne in this match. It was Thunder Rosa versus Athena versus Willow versus Statlander. And when you said get the belt, so there's still. I love that Thunder Rosa and Athena are still kind of debating, still battling out by themselves, because that will be the probably the car, Ring of Honor,
Ring
Card
of
of Honor.
Honor.
That's what it's
Uh,
called. Yeah,
Super Card of Honor. Yeah, Super Card of
Super
Honor.
Card of Honor. That's probably going to be the match. So that's
I
what
would hope
happened
so.
with the belt. Even though she didn't get hit, so that's why I didn't bring it up. But whatever. But yeah, he said hopefully
But
they'll still have surprises. I'm not sure what surprises would be with the women's or the more so the women, because the men you can still have prizes in your back pocket. The women you would have to, I don't know, like I think we probably maybe one surprise will be in there, and hopefully I don't know who that person is when it comes out. But he said it should be a good match. All right. Then we have an Adam Cole segment backstage. He's like, you know what? Collision's tomorrow night. I want to wrestle. I'm challenging you, Josh Alexander. Cool, bet. Any thoughts?
I mean, it should be amazing. I'm here for all of that. I
Yeah.
mean, so Adam Cole. I feel like because he was injured, like he came in with a lot of fanfare, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Adam
Yes.
Cole's here." The guy from NXT Black and Gold that was and then he came in and got injured and never quite got to reach that so far. So I'm hoping that he's finally going to get that push and be, the Adam Cole that we think he all can be, or that we saw him be in NXT, but even better
Yes.
as we're hoping he would be. So
No, we're on the same boat. I still have hope for Adam Cole. Either now we are on to the main event where it is Hangman versus the Beast Mortis. I'm going to cut you off before you even mention it. No, it's not because Mercedes is dating Beast Mortis that he's in
yes,
the main event. It's
it
not.
is.
He's a good wrestler. He would have gotten this position either way.
No,
Now,
you
and
got
then
away with
more
that
so,
argument.
no,
You
no,
got away with
and
this
then
argument
more.
last week.
And then backstory, last week we had Grand Slam Mexico. So we are just piggybacking off of that. Where Hangman was beating everybody that was in the main event.
Listen,
Who was in that main event? Beast Mortis. So he's getting his revenge. Well, so because Heyman couldn't wrestle in Mexico, so now he's wrestling the Beast Mortis here. So let's just die that down of why the Beast Mortis is in the main event, because it's great and it's also a piggyback of Grand Slam Mexico. Either way, the match was good. No, like real talk, the Beast Mortis have been great in the ring. He's been great. It's just like, not say directionless, but it's just like how you get him to the next level. And when I say next level, like popularity, fans actually wanting him to be more. It's like he was with the Callis family, if I'm not mistaken. He was definitely with Roosh, but like Roosh is not sure if it's because of visas, but Roosh is rarely here. And then you flip it over here where and then like I want to say part of Cal's family. Not really sure if that's a solidified thing or not. But overall, the match was great. And we're on the road to All In. So of course Heyman wins the match. Any thoughts?
last week in Mexico, I let you convince me a little bit that they were looking because someone couldn't make it, and they were looking at the crowd of wrestlers, and they said, "Okay, Mortis is a good wrestler. He's a Mexican fan favorite. Let's bring him out and let's have him be part of the team." This week, you're not getting that argument over. 2 weeks ago, okay, let me explain. Let me explain. 17 days ago, it's announced that Mercedes Moné, your sixth title holding, belt collecting, probably biggest woman in your company, is dating a mid card Mexican wrestler who's been on
That
your show
is
plenty of times.
hurtful.
I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be
Hurtful.
more. He's an amazing wrestler, but you booked him as a mid card guy for the last 4 years that he's been around. The best he does is wrestle bigger guys and take losses. So now, within 2 weeks, 2 weeks in a row, he's in main event situations. Last week, you could have convinced me a little bit. You talked me into it because they were in Mexico. They needed a guy. Here, I think this is strictly because he's with Mercedes Moné. He's getting the rub, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. It's perfectly fine. He's a good wrestler, and he should be getting this spot on his own. I'm just saying, I don't think that's why he's there. That being said, the match itself is really, really good. And you know, I the problem here is that again, there's no predictability. In
Yeah.
nowhere in my mind, whether it's 2 weeks before All In when he's got a match for the title, or whether it's on a random collision, you're never going to convince me that Mortis is actually going to be Hangman Page. And
Yeah.
especially not in this situation where it's, 2 weeks out from All In, he's wrestling John Moxley for the title. There's no way. So in that regard, there's no your main event is completely predictable as to who gets the win. I mean, well,
Yeah.
it's fun to watch the action and see who, they're both good wrestlers, so it's fun to watch the actual wrestling, but it is what it is. And don't get me wrong, I'm happy to see Mortos get the spot here. I
Yes.
just think it's a weird coincidence that now he's getting those spots. But again, I
I,
know I know. I just
I
watched the stuff. So no, this was fun. Great, a solid match between two really good wrestlers. Unfortunately, it was predictable. But again, it was fun to watch the match itself.
All right. So can you do the post match because my phone is dying. I'm trying to transition. But yes,
Yep.
what happened was, this could be the end. Heyman gets attacked.
Post match, yeah, the lights go out, and then they come back on, and they've got Page like on his knees essentially in the middle of the ring, in the EVP trigger position, and then the Death Riders come out. Moxley, they give him the EVP trigger, then Moxley comes out and chokes Page with a chain. He actually has Moxley's, or yeah, Hangman's neck wrapped with a chain, and Moxley's like pulling on it and choking him out, and ultimately Hangman Page is essentially out, and then the Ops runs in with a chair. Will Ospreay joins him to chase Moxley and the Death Riders out. Moxley promises at the very end of the show to show them what a real world champion looks like. So, post match was fine. Again, you're leading up to your WrestleMania All In, whatever, All In, your WrestleMania show, and this is a big match for you guys because it's for the AEW World Championship, Hangman versus Moxley. So I understand why they do this here. It can be fine for what it is. I mean, the Bucks being involved is what it is. I'm tired of watching Moxley choke everybody out, but that's just me. I mean, I'm sure that's probably just me. I just think it gets a little too repetitious. But other than that, it's fine. And Moxley's always solid. So ending the show with Moxley and Hangman makes sense. And yeah, okay. Mortis takes the loss and gets a shot in the main event, I guess. We all knew he was going to lose. Yeah, this show was fun. In comparison to Collision, um, I think I'm going to give this a B plus. I think it was just a hair above Collision. So it wasn't an A show because there were some things about it that I didn't really care for, but uh, I, it's a little above Collision. We gave Collision a B, so I'm going to give this a B plus.
All right, sorry about the echo. We're all in the same agreement though. Definitely, yeah, B plus. I'm trying to see if anything, huh?
You got it, yeah, just a little closer to the microphone.
Oh, yeah. So definitely a B plus. We're all ingredients here. There wasn't really anything egregious. It was just like, if y'all want to just change some things. More so the Hurt Syndicate part of it. It was just like, you could. I needed more from that. Just a little bit more. So besides that, I would give it a B plus with you. Yes. Love the angle at the end. So if anyone had any doubts, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson are definitely against Hangman winning, and they're gonna help Moxley. I have thoughts of who's gonna help Hangman. I think it's gonna be more people than Ospreay and Swerve. Swerve couldn't be out there because he was suspended, so there's still question if he's gonna come out there, but he's gonna come out there. So yeah, I agree with you. Great Dynamite. B plus.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end. Well, I guess we have to declare our winner, even though you guys know. I need to get an actual sound. I need to download an actual horn sound. It is AEW Dynamite from Wednesday, June 25th, getting the win this week just by a hair over Collision from Saturday, June 21st. That does bring us to the end of this week's episode of Winner's Circle. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Make sure and tune in on Tuesday nights, every Tuesday, for the cookout, starting at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, where we all come together and talk about what's cooking up in the world of professional wrestling, play games, and do other stuff. I don't know what will be going on this Tuesday, so make sure and tune in to find out what we got going on this Tuesday. On Friday nights, we have Friday Night Fights, where Nika and Sammy Joe usually, or two people, sit and watch Monday Night.
Friday. We will. It's back
sit,
on. Sorry about
sit
the
and watch
delays.
SmackDown Live, starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, giving you the real-time reactions and opinions of the show. On Saturday mornings, as you're here with us now. So it's a Winner's Circle starting at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, where we review Dynamite and Collision from the week before and grade each show and declare a winner. And this week's winner was AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite dominated when we were reviewing it against Raw and NXT, and it has so Dynamite. It's been, I think this is the third week now that we've been doing it against Collision, or fourth week. It's I think it's one each week anyhow. So Dynamite is definitely one of our favorite shows. So we are also on social media everywhere that you see on that screen there. If you scan the QR code, that'll take you to Linktree, and from Linktree you can get to all of our social media from one location. We are at all the places that are on the screen, although not very often on X. But check us out there and interact with us. We love to interact with you guys wherever we are. So, and then last but not least, you can catch the audio version of the Cookout podcast. If you don't have time to sit and watch us and look at our beautiful faces for an hour, you can just sit and listen to us talk in your ear for an hour while you work out or do your chores or whatever it is you've got going on. So you can find it on all of these podcast platforms that you see on the screen: Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, iHeartRadio, etc., etc. So I think, oh, wrong one. Sorry, I was supposed to. There we go. Oh, okay. So unless you got anything else to say to the fine people on this Saturday morning, we will get up out of here, as Dolores likes to say. Turn out the lights and say peace.
Bye.